In the depths of the earth, where shadows play, I've walked among the ancients in the world, gone astray. Their secrets whispered to
Tonight's
me
episode is shocking and not for the faint of heart. Maybe you should make sure there are no children in the room and let us adults discuss what they just found in Peru. Stones that resemble runes and ancient Palo-Hebrew. That's not all. The bodies of the Nazca mummies had them all around. But first, we look at the latest Nazca mummy found and discover that this being, after scientific examinations, has telltale signs of abuse, neglect, and treatment like a worker. Was this being a slave worker designed to work in the uranium mines which are near these plains?
A desolate desert at dawn. The landscape is barren, yet the sky hints at the first rays of light. Shadows stretch long across the ground as though concealing ancient secrets. In this ancient land, where desert sands stretch as far as the eye can see, whispers travel with the wind. They tell of beings neither here nor entirely there, caught between worlds, between human and something beyond our understanding. This is where the Nazca mummies rest, their silence as profound as the enigma they left behind. Meet Maria, keep in mind that we are looking back into an ancient past, an ancient being who lived on Earth. In life, she bore the burdens of survival in ways we may never fully understand. Her form is preserved, yet some of her secrets remain hidden, guarded by time itself. In her body lies the unimaginable, a tale of struggle, adaptation, and survival beyond the ordinary. She existed in a time that saw her labor under brutal conditions, and within her gut, scientists discovered uranium-eating bacteria. For centuries, an anomaly, the enigmatic symbols of ancient civilizations bound to Earth's humanity. In distant deserts, atop remote mountains, and carved into stone, these cryptic writings seem to share one purpose: to preserve knowledge from beyond our world. But could these markings tell a story that connects cultures separated by oceans, continents, and thousands of years? Throughout history, we've seen ancient symbols and languages repeating across different cultures that supposedly had no contact with each other. And some of the most mysterious symbols come from ancient runic scripts and from Paleo-Hebrew. But could it be that these symbols connect beyond what scholars are willing to admit? In the vast, isolated plains of southern Peru, there lies one of the world's greatest archaeological mysteries, the Nazca lines. These massive, intricate geoglyphs form various animals, plants, and geometric shapes, best viewed from the sky. But recently, another discovery has emerged, sparking even more controversy and intrigue: the so-called Nazca mummies. Humanoid figures with elongated skulls and 3 fingers on each hand, the mummies were reportedly found near the same desert plains. And on these mummies, or rather on the stone tablets accompanying them, some researchers claim to have found symbols remarkably similar to Paleo-Hebrew. Ancient runes and Paleo-Hebrew writings are typically found on opposite sides of the world, and yet on certain stones near these mummies, we see what seems to be an ancient, undeciphered script, with characters that bear an uncanny resemblance to both Paleo-Hebrew and runic symbols. This raises many questions. How did these symbols appear here? And why do they resemble writing from completely different cultures? Scholars have long debated the origins of runic writing. Some believe that runes evolved from the ancient alphabets of the Mediterranean. But certain runic characters are so unique that some theorists question if they could have an extraterrestrial origin. We've seen runes in Scandinavia, on the British Isles, and throughout Germanic Europe. But if there are connections between runic scripts and Paleo-Hebrew symbols found on stones near the Nazca mummies, then we're talking about a global language, or perhaps a language that was given to all these cultures by someone or something not of this earth. Could it be that the runic symbols, the Paleo-Hebrew writings, and the markings on these stones near the Nazca mummies all originate from a common source? And if so, what purpose did these symbols serve? If you look closely, Certain runic symbols represent natural forces, spiritual entities, and complex cosmologies. The Paleo-Hebrew script, on the other hand, is deeply tied to a monotheistic worldview, yet both share profound connections with the heavens. We know that the ancients looked to the stars for guidance. It's possible that these symbols were a shared attempt to communicate with beings beyond Earth. And indeed, ancient legends from Scandinavia, the Middle East, and the Americas often speak of powerful beings descending from the stars. In Norse mythology, the god Odin was said to have received the wisdom of runes through a powerful mystical revelation. In the Hebrew tradition, ancient prophets reported receiving sacred knowledge through celestial encounters. Could the symbols found across these cultures represent a knowledge passed down from beings who were once visitors to our planet? Think about it. These symbols, these languages, are designed to preserve something valuable. It's almost as if there was a deliberate attempt to leave a message that would transcend cultures and continents. And the fact that we're seeing similar symbols near the Nazca mummies in Peru is a potential clue to an advanced global or even But there's more to Maria's mystery. Nearby comma inscribed on ancient stones, we find Paleo-Hebrew, a language carried by a people from distant lands and older worlds. In his works, Dr. Zechariah Sitchin painted a vision of beings from the stars, the Anunnaki. According to Sitchin, these entities arrived here long ago, molding and shaping humanity for purposes we can only speculate. Could the Nazca mummies be remnants of that legend? Perhaps even creations of those otherworldly hands, cast aside in the desolation of this desert, the remains of a civilization no longer bound to Earth. In every myth, there's a fragment of truth, like stars set against the blackness of night. Ancient people whispered of beings descending from the heavens, bringing knowledge, bringing change. They spoke of creators, of molders, those who crafted life for reasons beyond our own understanding. Could the Nazca mummies represent remnants of these celestial visitors, lost in the sands of time, left behind as testament to this lost connection? The mummies' lives and the uranium mines, what was their purpose? Why would these creatures live afflicted lives? The evidence reveals how hard these creatures worked, endured brutal labor, not merely for survival, but perhaps for the needs of another. They endured, scarred by existence, their very bones carrying whispers of their purpose and of their abandonment. The mystique of the black-haired beings. And what of the black-haired people? Their memory lingers, faint, like a song half-remembered. Could they have been the first, the originals, those created with purpose, yet forgotten as new generations passed? There are legends of these people, of their dark hair, of their strange beauty. Could they have been the bridge, the half-human, half-celestial beings living between worlds, enduring in silence? Reflection on Paleo-Hebrew and ancient South American connection. Across time and space, humanity leaves traces of its knowledge. From ancient scripts in the East to symbols inscribed on the rocks of Peru, we see connections that defy explanation. Language, like memory, ties us together. But here, where does this language come from? Who left it here on stones in a distant land, as if connecting distant worlds? Were these South American lands not isolated but touched by beings with ties to ancient Hebrew lore, to stories of a god and his angels, or perhaps watchers, as some texts suggest? Nazca mummies as beings from the Bible. Could these mummies, with their mysterious origins, be echoes of beings from the Bible? In ancient scriptures we read of giants, of watchers, of beings who fell to earth and lived alongside humanity, guiding, even ruling at times. Were they the Nephilim, those who watched from afar, shaping and moulding mankind for purposes we can only guess? In these lands, could they have become woven into South American culture as figures of reverence or fear? Ancient South American cosmology and mysticism. In the cosmology of ancient Peru, beings from the sky held an important place. Stories tell of gods who descended, bringing wisdom, knowledge, and power. These myths resonate deeply with tales from the Bible, tales of beings who came down carrying divine secrets. Could it be that these mummies, these relics of a lost era, are tied to this celestial legacy? A blending of South American mysticism and stories from the old world merging into one? The hybrid nature of the mummies. These beings, these hybrids, represent more than mere history. They are the crossroads of myth and reality, bodies that bear the marks of human suffering and the traits of something beyond human. We find in them the beauty of creation and the cruelty of abandonment, beings moulded by hands not entirely of this world. The desert remembers, the people remember. Though these beings lived, toiled and suffered, they left behind a legacy that endures in the stories, in the language and in the spirit of those who carry on today. These mummies, these beings, are more than relics. They are lives, memories, fragments of something greater, reminding us of our own connection to a cosmos filled with wonders we are only beginning to understand.
Thank you for watching The Darkened Crypt. Remember to like, share and subscribe, and be aware of your surroundings, and if you see anything unusual, avoid and report it. The world we live in is filled with different beings, and being aware is key. Nothing here is new, just us knowing about it.